Hey guys, it's Dan from DisneyInfinityCodes.com, and I am here inside the toy box in Disney Infinity 3.0, and I thought we would throw together a quick Spark Farm to help you guys level up your characters quicker, or if you got a whole bunch of characters and they've got a whole bunch of awesome moves, and it's really helpful if you can get that all those special attacks and special moves to the skill tree. So this is a really helpful way to get that all leveled up. And there's a great new feature in Disney Infinity 3.0's toy box, which is the Path Creator. And so using that, we can now assign a vehicle to move around the Spark Farm, which then increases your spark pickup radius and makes things a lot easier than doing a thing like the rail slide, which was a previous technique to kind of move you around. So what we're going to do to start is hop over to the creativity toys, and that is I'm not exactly used to the setup of this of all these pieces here and all the different categories and where everything is, so just bear with me as I go to find it. So first thing I'm going to do is create a trigger area, and I'm just going to drop that trigger area right dead center, and then I'm going to also then move up here and create 4 trigger areas, although I just watched Patrick Efred, aka Papa Echo, do a little bit of magic, and but I don't think I can. Oh yeah, there we go. Perfect. So using this little thing, I didn't realize, but you can expand the trigger area, which is kind of awesome. So I'll do that, and I'm going to now hop back out of Spark mode and grab a few enemy generators, which I already passed. There they are. So I'm going to drop a few of these enemy generators inside of this trigger area, and we'll get to that in just a minute as to why we're doing that. Throw 6, 8, pretty decent number. They're going to generate a good amount of sparks for you. If you're on a Wii U like myself, putting any more than maybe 8 enemy generators might be a little hard on the system. So you might want to, just maybe stick with 6, because that should be more than enough for you. And then what we're going to do on top of this trigger area, and it doesn't have to be on top, you can put this kill switch anywhere, is drop a kill switch. And so what we're going to do now is set it up so that anytime someone enters the trigger area here on the bottom, that it sends a signal to these enemy generators to create a chain reaction to start spawning enemies. That should ideally be a continuous loop, but every once in a while it doesn't, and so that's why we have a trigger area that will re-trigger the loop. And then anytime an enemy enters this trigger area, it triggers the kill switch to then kill everything inside. So I'm going to set that up right now while we're here with all the pieces now in place. So first thing I'm going to do is hop into this trigger area, create a new logic connection for whenever it's entered by a player. And you want to make sure it's not, any or an enemy or anything like that, because you can accidentally cause things to trigger when you don't want them to if you're not careful. And so now I go over here to the first enemy generator, and we're a big fan of Rhino Guards because they seem to spawn the most amount of sparks in our experience. But you can certainly pick any enemy you want; it doesn't really much matter. And so then once that's triggered to spawn a Rhino Guard, what we're going to do is now create a logic connection with each of these enemy generators and kind of chain them all together. So we'll have the enemy generator send a message when an enemy is generated to the next enemy generator to generate another enemy. And so we're going to repeat that process, and so just bear with us as we do that. An enemy is generated to trigger another enemy. An enemy is generated. Trigger another. And so what we're doing is it kind of makes it a little bit easier than running back and forth to the trigger area by just daisy chaining these all together. And there are many different ways to go about this. This is just one of the ways that I do it, but there are certainly lots of different options when you're building a spark generator. So experiment with whatever works best for you, because there's all different kinds of the possibilities are infinite, as they like to say inside Disney Infinity. So almost done here. daisy chaining them all together, and I apologize I'm not too quick. I'm not as quick of a toy box builder as some of those toy box mentors out there. But I get the job done. One of the great new features in the toy box in 3.0 is that whenever you're highlighting a certain object, it will show you, and you can kind of see it right there with that little blue line, it will show you what current logic connections it has when you go into the, the logic connection editor, which is super handy. And if you're editing a logic that's already existing, it will highlight that logic connection with a gold line instead of a blue line. So that, in the more complicated toy boxes, things like that can really help, keep things organized and keep things straight, because otherwise things can get a little hectic and crazy. All right, so now we're all the way back around. And then what I also like to do is then just do one more trigger connection in this trigger area with, one of the enemy generators in the middle of the line, so that, if the logic is currently busy thinking and something should get in the way, or that this can re-trigger it to start spawning in the middle of the loop instead of so I have a kind of a logic on both ends to start triggering enemies. And so now what we're going to do is check out the path creator. And so if you don't have the path creator yet, it's available inside the toy store. It's not something that comes stock with the toy box. I think it's 1,000 sparks, but we're just gonna hop over there and take a quick look, just so we can see. So we'll hop over to the toy store, and I believe that it is in the construction toys. In the nope, I might be mistaken. It is in the advanced toys, and so I'm just going to page through these real quick to see if we can find it. Here we go. So it's in the advanced toys under Creativity Toys number 4. And there's the path creator, and it's 1,000 sparks. And so that's what you're going to... I recommend you grabbing that because it is pretty handy. And so let's hop back into the editor. And what we're going to do is create kind of like a figure 8 underneath this kill zone that we just made in order to optimize the spark pickup radius. And so I'm going to highlight the path creator here, and I'm going to start the path right here inside this trigger area. So ideally what's going to happen is we're going to do a loop-to-loop underneath the kill area, and then we're going to pass back through the trigger area to re-trigger the spawn of more enemies. And so we've got... and it's important to kind of do like a little bit of a wide... Don't think you're going to be overshooting it, because the sparks really land all over the place when you start using them. When you start using this spark farm, they really do fly everywhere. And so now I'm going to send it back in through here. And what I like to do is put one point back through the trigger area. So as each loop around that we're doing, the tight loop and the wide loop both start the trigger process for the enemy generator again. So once I've got all that lined up, now what I want to do is hop over to the spark and then edit this path creator and go into the properties. And first thing I want to do is change the speed to 300, which I'm going to do here. I believe that's the highest you can go. And then I'm going to turn the path creator onto looped, and that's going to make it one closed circuit. And now head back out of here. And now the final thing we're going to do is, well, I just realized that we didn't set up this kill switch. So highlight the kill switch, new logic connection when defeated, and then we're going to attach it to this trigger area. And just to make sure I did that right, because I believe we did, new logic when entered by any defeated. So I believe that's the correct way to do it, is to highlight the trigger area first and then go to the kill switch. But once you set that up, you want to make sure that your character does not enter. That's why we kind of have it elevated. It's one of the reasons, because as soon as it enters into that kill switch, you'll kill your own character, which is not ideal, certainly. Great. And so finally what we're going to do is hop back out of your spark mode, and we're going to find a vehicle. I'm a fan of the flying vehicles for this, because you don't have to worry about the ground vehicles, you know, being perfectly lined up so that they hit the ground, because you know, gravity is in effect here. And just the Enchanted Bed from Bed Knobs and Broomsticks just tickles me so much. So we are going to make sure we use this as much as possible when building inside the toy box, because it is a great classic Disney film. I'm gonna grab that, choose the path connection, and then I think you have to choose the green path thing here in order to just connect that. And right away it started triggering sparks because of me stepping inside of the trigger zone. But that didn't work, maybe because got a little nervous there. New path connection. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into spark mode.
Let there be joy!
Because there's a spark, I'm not going to trigger that to set off again. So that's all you got to do. And so there, boom, you can see that the bed is now traveling on the path. And now I can hop out of spark mode. And the two discs I strongly recommend you use, and I believe you can alternate the Spider-Man costume change disc, or I believe it's the Falcon costume change disc that increases the radius. I believe it's the Falcon disc that increases the pickup radius. But what I use is Mickey's Sorcerer Hat from 1.0 and Merlin's Summon from 1.0. These two power discs. What Merlin's Summon does is increase the pickup range of sparks, and Mickey's Sorcerer's Hat gives you a boost in experience sparks. So these in combination will really speed up the process of also, you know, using the spark farm. I'm going to switch over to, I think there's all the characters I have. Oh, I'm going to throw Mulan on base here, because she is level 0 at the moment. The only tricky thing now about using the bed on the path generator at speed 300 is that it can be a little tricky to grab. But if you've got a quick trigger finger, you can grab it pretty easily. And there you go. So now Mulan is on the bed, picking up all the sparks that are dropping. She's triggering it every time she passes through. And what is also handy is, and if you have another spare controller, grab another of your characters and throw them on the other side of the base. And then trigger the second controller. And what you can do now is spark farm 2 characters at a time and truly maximize your farming. And it also looks really cool when the 2 characters are sitting on the bed together on the Enchanted Bed from Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. So there you go. There is a quick tutorial on how to use the spark farm. And I timed it out, and I think it takes approximately 20 to 30 minutes to fully level the character up to level 20. Obviously, as you increase the level, it becomes more and more difficult. It takes more and more experienced sparks to get the characters to level up. And so the more it goes, the longer it takes. points because they're not unlocked for Mulan, and Jack Sparrow doesn't have one. So if you have a PlayStation and Xbox, you can really go nuts and increase the amount of enemy generators you have, by far more than what I put in there. You can do 10, 15, whatever the system you have will handle specifically. And obviously the more enemy generators you put in, the more sparks you can get, and the faster you will level up. But so there you go. There is the spark generator inside 3.0 using the path tool for a vehicle, which helps with the pickup of the sparks. So as always, thanks for watching, and visit us at DisneyInfinityCodes.com every week for giveaways, deals, and the latest news. Subscribe, like, tweet, favorite, heart, do all those things you do.